When I found out I was pregnant, I was scared to death. I thought I couldn't have children. I'll never forget it. My father-in-law asked me one day, "Are you pregnant?" And I said, "No." He said, "Yes, you are. You're glowing." I took a pregnancy test a week later, and I was pregnant. My husband and I wanted to be sober. We desperately tried many, many times. All throughout my pregnancy, I would get sober, relapse, get sober, and relapse. And then the day finally came, July 4th of 2014. I had my son. I had been up for 3 days high on methamphetamine, and I was so afraid that they were going to take my son. But by the grace of God, they didn't, and he had no drugs in his system. We were able to bring him home and try to stay sober. And I did for the next 90 days. So like I said, I gave birth, and we were so fortunate. 2 days later, we got to go home with my son. He got to meet his papa, the one who said I was pregnant and knew before I knew. My mama flew down from New York to teach me how to breastfeed, change diapers, the whole 9 yards. I was holding on by a thread and was able to stay sober for about 90 days. I was fighting postpartum depression, and I wasn't getting the help that I needed. My husband was working his ass off overnights, and I was at home with the baby a lot all by myself. And instead of letting him know that I was struggling, I resorted to my coping skill of using. I went back to Xanax, and Xanax led me back to intravenous methamphetamine use. I loved my son more than life itself, but I just couldn't get my shit together. 2 days before his first birthday, Child Protective Services came knocking on. We left off where Child Protective Services came knocking on my door. This is my friend Tara, the one who called them on me. We're not best friends anymore, but after 6.5 years, she finally told me the truth that it was her that called them. I've forgiven her, and I'm glad she did because it saved my life. This is a picture of us visiting my son at the Child Protective Services office. I was still in treatment at this time. It was hard for Nathaniel to connect with me because every time I would go, I would cry, and he would be scared of me, and he'd only want to go to his dad. But eventually we started to get visits where we could take him out and go do things, and we started getting closer again. It took us 1 year to get custody of Nathaniel back, and we've had him back ever since. It's been over 6 years now. And he's doing so well. He's thriving. I'm so proud of him. Our little family is complete. He'll be 8 years old this July. And to answer the question that's pinned, yes, my husband's also an addict. We both got sober at the same time.